I think I'm live. I think I was just live on IG. I don't know if I was. I'm testing that out. It's kind of learning curve with Streamlabs, but YouTube, I can go live really easily. Just wanted to say hi. It's good, everybody. I just wanted to hop on and talk to you real and open up a bit about where I've been mentally, emotionally, spiritually. This past 18 months easily has been the hardest of my life. Divorce, court, ex-wives, financial shit, identity crisis. You get divorced, you feel like a failure. I didn't come out of it clean and perfect, but fuck am I clear right now. And there's a lot of really positive things happening in my life. I'm so happy, I'm sober. I believe in God. I'm grateful. I have tons of gratitude. I think this whole journey was needed for this next chapter in my life, to be that father for my kids that my kids are going to need. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that all of this happened. I'm grateful that I got divorced. I feel bad for my kids, but honestly, it's exactly what I needed. And I'm with my kids as much as I can be, and emotionally, support wise. If anyone's heard any stories from other people, they're not true. Healing isn't pretty. It's not quotes and crystals and journaling. Sometimes it's tears. Sometimes it's silence. Sometimes it's choosing not to respond when everything in you wants to fight. I learned that rebuilding means showing up when no one claps and no one sees the work. I had to get quiet, lock in, rebuild my body, rebuild my focus, and most importantly, rebuild my identity without chaos. One of the biggest shifts came when I traveled to Costa Rica and I sat with ayahuasca. I didn't go for trend. I went there to break patterns. I was in a pattern for over 14 years. And it just wasn't with drugs either. It was also with being an introvert, not communicating properly with people, developing relationships for the wrong reasons. Never taking the time to really listen to somebody talk and hear what they have to say. And I never had any perspective. I never understood how somebody felt. I never took the time to understand how somebody felt. I actually had a moment, I think it was 2 weekends ago. My son was over. We were in the kitchen, and a little bit of a backstory before I tell this story is we like to keep our house pretty neat. And when we have 3 kids over at my parents' house, they sometimes get a little stressed out when there's little ones making messes. Anyway, so my son with my dad in the kitchen drops an egg on the floor. Egg splatters. And I see my dad's face right away, and I know right away he's like, oh my God, a mess. And then I see my son's face, and my son is like, damn it. Like, I was going to eat that. And that's the perfect example of a perspective. And it's identical to the farmer and the egg argument, but I got to see it in real life. So my son's perspective was, I just lost out on food. My dad's perspective was, I got to clean that up. So going back to the whole ayahuasca thing, and the addictions, they weren't just drugs, they were video games, and they were it was porn. A lot of that stuff's just toxic. And the medicine brought me face to face with myself, my fears, my addictions, my guilt, And then my purpose. And I'm still figuring out what my purpose is. I'm starting to figure it out, most definitely, but I had a lot of fun doing it. I released pain I've been carrying for years. I forgave everybody in my life. And that's, in my opinion, especially coming off this divorce, that is the most important part of moving on and being happy, is forgiveness. And I know that certain clips get clipped. I don't know if you listen to this whole thing, but I'm just going to talk to you directly. You know who I'm talking to right now. I forgive you. And if you could work towards forgiving me, I think things would be a lot easier. Since that moment, I've moved differently. I'm a lot more intentional. Intentions and expectations. If I fall short, I don't abandon myself. I look at that as progress. And there are a lot of challenges. Sometimes you get letters in the mail that aren't too pleasant. Sometimes a kid gets really sick. It gets stressful. Sometimes things happen at your job. But I'm never going to abandon myself again, and I'm never going to forget who I am. And I'm a strong fucking dude. Like I can get through it. And anyone listening to this that's struggling, you can get through it too. I want to talk about something that's been on my heart heavy, and it's men's mental health. We don't talk about it enough, what it means to be a man in depth. And I feel like it's more important than ever to put some priority on this, only because with AI coming and automation coming, there's going to be less and less jobs in this world. And how our government takes care of it is a whole nother conversation. I want men to remember that if you're so important to civilization and society, and if you could take that time, that 20 minutes in a day, to silence everything around you, silence your mind, and channel that inner power, you'll get stronger and stronger. And if that means a little bit of yoga, meditation, breath work, look it all up on YouTube. There's a lot of different things on YouTube. Find what works for you. I promise you, once you get there, you're just going to continue growing. Hi, Rafi. Love you too. I believe we're in a war, and it's not with guns. It's confusion, addiction, disconnection. It's time that we step up as men, but not with our ego, with grounded leadership. What does it mean to be a leader? What it means to be a leader is to lead by example and listen. The best communicators only talk 33% of the time. The other 67% of the time, they're listening. When you lead by example, people follow. And it's going to be so important for men with kids to lead by example. If you're going to ask your kids to do something, do it too. Do it with them and have fun with it. If you're not having fun, you're not going to progress. You just aren't. This isn't the end of my story. It's just the beginning. I never thought that my life was going to begin at 32 years old, but shit, here I am. I literally died in Costa Rica. Clip that. I literally died in Costa Rica and I was reborn. I've had so many deep conversations. It's been so good for my health. I'm staying so locked in with my kids. I've never experienced the power of now in that book. I've never experienced being so present ever. And it's so cool. It's so worth it to watch your kids grow. and it's so fun. If you've been watching this and you feel that fire inside, lean into it. Rebuild. Sometimes before you begin rebuilding, you have to knock some more things over and kind of start from ground up. If you're in the middle of chapter 1, keep going. I think I'm still in chapter 1 right now. We're gonna have a hell of a climax. Take someone who needs to hear this. Follow the podcast page. Like, subscribe. DM me on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm just starting to build a TikTok for the first time. I don't know how I feel about that. I just want to build a community. I think we need to build a community of people, men and women, and understand and realize what's important. Thank you for listening.